From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening of Evenings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check of 2021 today. In this update, we go over your fourth stimulus check, that monthly stimulus check that starts in the month of July and goes all the way to December, and why the financial news today was incredible push for that fourth stimulus check. It's a two-bill, two-month, two-step process, and it's already underway. With the four stimulus checks going out in July, in this recording, we go over how much you would see, who would get it, how much you would get, and when you would get it. Then we cut to the incredible great news about fifth stimulus. It is the SSDI reform that will change your life. They'll absolutely change your life and have love win over everything, with the marriage penalty gone and with benefits raised across the board. I have all the big news tonight. Then we cut to the big money landing today. Money landing in your hands, in your bank account across the land. Whether it's automatic or by application base, it's incredible great news. A lot of money, a lot of details, and a major 30 minutes of recording. This is a major night across the board. Thank you for joining me on Evenings LA, starting right now. Hey, good evening, everybody. It's a beautiful night here in Los Angeles. Hope you are having a great day as well. I have your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 with breaking news across the board on what happened on Wall Street, with the consumer price index and the PPI both in the last 24 hours. And it signals a major set of developments for your fourth stimulus. I'll be going over your fourth stimulus check, how much you're going to get it, when you're going to get it, and what are all the details. Then we cut to fifth stimulus. The major changes that will impact your entire life. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, and survivor benefits, I'm covering it in the second half of this recording. And then in the middle part, I'm going over the big money that's landing directly in your hands starting this week. I'm so excited for you. But first, let's subscribe. I want you part of this channel. This is LALATE, the 24 hours a day, 27 days a week financial news channel, the only one of its kind online, delivering breaking news across the board, live in the morning, taped in the evening. So subscribe right now. Also, like this video. I want you to bring this video to number one on the algorithm rankings, and consider becoming a member. The link's in the top of the chat and in the pinned comment. Let's get right to the breaking news without any delay. The fourth stimulus is the single biggest payout you've ever seen in the history of the channel, and there's two approaches to it with two proposals, the House versus Senate. Let's compare the proposals and compare the amounts of monies across the board. The House proposal would provide you a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year thereafter, whereas the House members would provide you stimulus checks over a shorter duration. Let's compare. If you're in the live chat watching just after 5 o'clock on the West Coast, 8 o'clock on the East Coast, get ready to vote House or Senate, but not just yet. Let's look at the provisions. House members provided a proposal of stimulus checks for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. So if there are 4 more months left of the pandemic, you would do 4 plus 12, 16 months of stimulus checks. The senators in turn proposed stimulus checks from July to December. Less months of checks, but before you make a determination right there to vote, wait till you see this, the monthly amount. Oh boy, big change. So the House members propose $1,000 a month for a stimulus check after the first month of $2,000, where the senators, the amount is unknown, but word on the street is this. Yes, this. $2,000 a month from the month of July to December, $12,000 an individual, or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400 an individual. Wow, wow, wow. So now vote. If you're on the live chat just after 5 o'clock on the West Coast, 8 o'clock on the East Coast, jump into the live chat. Vote House or Senate. Which one do you like? And if you're watching this taped, drop in the comments, House or Senate. Which one do you like? Now let's go back over the eligibility, when you're going to get this, how you're going to get this, and all the incredible great details. Let's do it right now. First, Who gets this? You do. If you got the third stimulus check, you get the fourth stimulus check. So if you make less than $75,000, you get the fourth stimulus check of 2021. Married couple, $150,000 or less, you get the fourth stimulus check of 2021. Double it. If you are a household 4 or less, you get the fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, and veterans benefits, you get it as well. The stimulus check, the 4 stimulus checks are the same amount for an individual as for a child, as for adult dependents. Incredible, great news across the board. Is it income? No. Is it taxable? No. Would it come in waves? No. First check would come in July. I'm a reporter. I'm not a legislator. I only report their representations. They aren't mine. They represent the vote would be done in July with the stimulus out the door. So that means the month of July, you would get the first stimulus check for the month of July. August for the month of August, and continuing month after month thereafter. This is a 2-bill, 2-month, 2-step process, a reconciliation that has already begun with the legislators already writing the language across the board. House versus Senate, which one have you voted? I'll be going more over the incredible news that hit today about the Consumer Price Index and the CPI and the PPI from yesterday, and why it has a big impact on 4 stimulus, but tangential respect for stimulus checks. I'll be going over those details in just a second. But first, let me give you a big preview of the second half of this recording. Yes, this is going to be a 30-minute jam-packed recording, so stay to the very end because I literally have money across the entire broadcast, and get that pen and paper ready because I'm going to give you a lot of details on what you have to do. And people have been asking me, what's your deadline? I'm going to go over that deadline in just a second. All right. The second half of this recording will go over fifth stimulus, which is a 2-bill, 2-month, 2-step process as well. It starts in September, unlike this one we're doing now, which is ending in July. This one would end around November of fifth stimulus, and it would add SSI reform. How much, who's going to get it, and all the details I'll be covering in the second half of this recording. But understand right off the top, it is you. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, veterans benefits, Social Security, survivor benefits, your lifetime benefits will be raised up to a new number. All those details are coming up in the second half of this recording. Stay to the very end. That is your fifth stimulus. Now, let's cut to the incredible great news hitting today. As millions of Americans are awaiting massive payouts coming from states and the federal government, I'm going to be going over this incredible money. If you hear me say donut moment, it means you don't have to do anything. It's automatic. If you hear me say tough love moment, it means you have to do something. And it means the deadline is coming up. And if you don't get it, tough love, because you will not get it. So I'm being very heavy-handed and saying you need to do this work right now. Otherwise, it's going to lapse. All right, let's get to the details. First item is a donut item. Great way to start the evening. Sorry if you're hungry. But is it chocolate or glaze? All right, let's get to the first one. Automatic, coming back to you from who? The states. The states are returning thousands of dollars to many of the viewers of this channel. And what's going on? Let me go over the detail. The federal government has ordered states to return back to you money that you returned back to them. Why? Let's go over the details. Just a few days ago, your labor secretary, Marty Walsh, former mayor of Boston, came out and said that the states made a mistake. During the last year, some states overpaid you because of computer malfeasance. Not your fault. Not your fault. It was their mistake. And then after they paid you, they asked you to return the money, and you did. Well, Walsh's Department of Labor has said that is an error, and that the states should not have asked you to return the money back, should have allowed you to keep the money. And now those states have been ordered to return the money to you right away. So if you receive thousands of dollars of overpayment from your state, get ready because it's coming back to you right away. This is from your state, automatic to the direct deposit or the instrument that you receive your weekly unemployment benefits from. Incredible great news. All right, next one is also a donut moment. We love these donut moments. This one is automatic. First group getting the automatic money is single tax filers. The second group is called phase 2. Those are joint filers like husband and wife. You're coming next week. But together, I'm going to describe both of your scenarios right now. Automatic, what are you getting? Watch the mailbox for a beige or white envelope for Department of Treasury or IRS. Inside of it will be a beige check that'll say refund. Why are you getting a refund? The only likelihood it won't come by check, but by direct deposit if that direct deposit was listed on your 2020 tax return. What is this money? What's going on? Let me go over the details. People who filed a 2020 tax return already and pay taxes to the federal government on their first $10,200 of unemployment benefits are getting those taxes back to them this day. And that is incredible great news. Again, the joint filers, you're getting it next week in phase 2. So how much are you getting? Here's an example. You are getting only the amount that you paid the taxes on for the unemployment. So here's an example. Let's say your total unemployment benefits last year was $9,000. Your total tax bill, which you paid to the IRS, was $5,000 for everything, of which $4,000 your tax bill was for unemployment benefits, taxes. Then that $4,000 check is coming today. Congratulations. There we go. All right, that brings us to tough love moment number 1. Tough love moment number 1 is if you have not filed a 2020 tax return and took out for federal taxes each week while receiving your unemployment benefits in 2020, you have to file a tax return to the federal government ASAP and request that money back. Here's an example. Let's say you took out $100 a week for federal taxes while receiving your 2020 unemployment benefits, and you did that over 10 weeks. That's $1,000 you took out for federal taxes, which you didn't have to. You have to now request that back from the federal government on your IRS tax return. That tax return is just due in days. All right, the next item is the incredible relief for the children. $3,600 for children ages 5 to newborn is coming in the month of July, and $3,000 from 17 to 6 starting also in the month of July, prorated, either $300 a month or $250 a month, if two things have happened. Number 1, you made less than $75,000 last year. And number 2, the IRS knows those children exist. And that's the problem. If IRS does not know those children exist and you do not follow my tough love advice, you're going to get a massive whopping 0 in the month of July. And you won't be able to fix it in the month of July. So let's go over tough love moment number 1. You never file tax returns. IRS has never gotten any prior indication of these children existing and with you. When July comes around, you will get 0. What do you have to do? You have to file a tax return now, the 2020 tax return now, listing those children as your dependents with you on your address so that you get their checks starting the month of July. Here's a major tough love moment for you right now, and this is how I love you to death, but I'm being very heavy-handed in this video, is that the money starts in July, but the process to start the money ends this Monday. That's when your federal tax return is due. This Monday, it's due. If you have never alerted IRS that those children exist, if IRS does not know those children exist, you have to get that tax return on file by Monday. And if you don't, you're not going to get paid a penny in July, and you can't fix it in July. You will never get paid that money. Here's an example. A mother of a 5, a 4, and 3-year-old that the IRS doesn't know, you're going to get upwards of $10,000 if you follow my advice. If you don't, you're getting 0. So please take my tough love advice. Tough love number 2 is a mother who has a child but does not list that child on prior tax returns. Well, IRS will not know that child exists. Here's an example. You file a tax return year after year after year, but you've never listed that child on your tax return. Why? Maybe the child was on someone else's tax return, or maybe the child wasn't born. Guess what? When July comes around, they won't know the child exists with you. So you need to file that 2020 tax return right away. Tough love moment number 3 is where you have made a lot of money in 2019, listed that child on your tax return, but you're not eligible for the money because you made too much money in 2019. You're not eligible for the $3,600. So guess what? IRS is going to look at the most recent tax return of the 2019 and not pay you a penny. When, in fact, perhaps your 2020 year, you didn't make a lot of money. You made less than $75,000 or less than $100,000. You're entitled to the money for the children, but IRS doesn't know it because you haven't filed the 2020 tax return. So file the 2020 tax return. Tough love moment, last one, and this is a big one. If you're missing a first stimulus check, a second stimulus check, a third stimulus check, you must file the tax return. And that tax return is due this coming Monday. Also, if you're missing one of the members of the household stimulus checks, let's say you got your daughter's check but not your son's check, you have to file that tax return by Monday. Now, what you see in the totality of these tough love moments is the following. The deadline is this Monday. The deadline is this Monday. And so you need to go to the tax preparer ASAP, right away, and you need to go to the tax preparer with your notes, which I hope you've been making. I need to get that missing check from my son. I need to list with IRS all these children because they don't know about two of them. I need to ensure that I get my money back from my prepayment of my taxes for the federal government. You need to get all these things fixed. Here's what you need to know. You may have never had to file a tax return because you don't make enough money. Or you may never have to file a tax return because you're on benefits, SSI or SSDI. But when it comes to this money to get from the federal government, you categorically 100% triple underline 5 exclamation points must file the tax returns. Otherwise, you are getting a flat 0. And here's what I'm very excited about. I'm so excited you're watching me now because the deadline is not till Monday. I'm very worried about people who are watching incorrect YouTubers and are being guided along to do nothing. And then guess what happens? When July hits, they don't get a payment. They don't know why they didn't get a payment. They come over to me, and then I said, well, I told all of my viewers but in early May to get that tax return on file. They got their payments. You are watching incorrect information, and you can't fix it after the fact. All right, now we have other big, exciting, great news about money landing to you. And this is such incredible, great news because it's all for you. There is not a single viewer of this channel who makes less than $75,000 who's not eligible for this money. And it's anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000. And I'm going to tell it to you right now. It's money for rent, utilities, food, mortgage assistance, and homeowners' utility bills. And let's get to the details right now. $350 billion has just landed in cities, counties, and states this week, last week, and it's coming some more of it next week. This is third stimulus. It's not second stimulus. So if you reached out to those locations before, they didn't have it, they're now getting it. How do you get the money? I hope you have that pen and paper ready. Let's go over all the details. First, rent. How much rent is this? It's about $5,000. How many months? 4 to 6 months generally. Where do you reach out to? 6 locations. City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. If I'm going too fast at any time of this recording, because I understand this is a jam-packed 30-minute broadcast, you can replay it right after it airs, right after it's archived on the channel by touching the little toggle screen on the bottom of the screen and replay it back. But let me repeat those 6 locations. City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. You're reaching out for rent assistance because of COVID. You don't call it stimulus. You don't call it third stimulus. Rent assistance because of COVID. You may want to say America Economic Recovery Act, Biden plan, but that's about it. Then you can get utilities as well, a couple $100, a couple $1,000. Then next item is mortgage assistance, and then homeowners utilities. We turn over then to SNAP. SNAP is money for food. You reach out to Department of Agriculture, that's DOA, Department of Agriculture, to get this money. If you make less than approximately $75,000 a month, you can get it. How much? It's a fortune. It is an absolute fortune. A family of 4 in Hawaii is getting $16,000 a year. Oh my goodness. I mean, we're 17 minutes into this video. $16,000 there, $5,000 there. We're at $21,000. We're only a quarter of the way through this video, halfway through this video. It's incredible, great news. So how do you reach this? Department of Agriculture. Biden and Trump have 2 executive orders which increase SNAP for 15% over 1 year. So this is incredible, great news. And that brings me to another tough love moment. I have been telling you that stimulus checks are absolutely heading to the finish line, but other stimulus items are not. And other stimulus items are going to be going away. And which ones are absolutely categorically slated to go away? Everything that I just went over with rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners utilities. They're currently in the third stimulus. Purple Hawks, do your thing. That was the expression I detail on this channel that birthed the expression Purple Hawks. And also birthed the expression stimulus stampede. Now that this money's landing for rent and utilities, there's going to be a stampede to get the money. You as a Purple Hawk, need to pounce to get that money before anyone else. Because guess what? Tough love moment. It's going to be gone. It's going to be gone. So you need to be first to the door to grab the money. Second, it's not coming back. This is a very tough love, big tough love moment. Rent, utilities, mortgage protection, mortgage foreclosure, mortgage forbearance protection, and eviction moratorium are set to expire in September, and they're categorically not slated at the moment to come back under forced stimulus. So you need to be prepared to get this big money now because it's not going to be offered again. Finally, If you reached out to all those 6 locations for the rent and you're having problems finding it, reach out to the volunteers on the community page. The community page is in the description to this video, which is news.lalate.com/community. It has a picture of a series of cats on the top of the page. Reach out to the volunteers that can help you with rent, utilities, and also finding that mortgage and mortgage utilities and SNAP. They cannot provide you tax advice. You must go to that tax preparer right away. Remember, the federal tax return is due Monday. But I have incredible great news about your 4 stimulus checks, those monthly stimulus checks. The big breaking news that happened today about 4 stimulus checks and what's going on with 5th stimulus. It's coming up in the second half of this recording. Stay with me. I'll be back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Evenings LALATE with incredible big news about your 4th stimulus check. I have all the incredible details about your 4th stimulus check, what happened in the financial markets today that impacts the 4th stimulus package, and what's going on with the 5th stimulus package. How are you? First, make sure you subscribe. This is LALATE. I don't want you to miss a single recording across the board. I have all the breaking news 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so please subscribe. Grow this channel, the fastest of its kind. Grow it as big as we can to the moon. Also, like this video, 3,000 likes. Consider liking this video right away if you've not hit that like button, and consider becoming a member. The link's in the top of the chat and in the pinned comment. Let's get to the incredible breaking news that happened today. The President of the United States is getting a major push across the board for 4th stimulus one way and 4th stimulus checks another way. Here's what you need to know. 4th stimulus checks is one instrument for providing relief to American people. Other types of stimulus relief are items like FPUC, which provide an entirely different type of stimulus across the board. Well, here's what you need to know, is that stimulus checks are heading to the finish line. But other stimulus items that would have potentially have been in the 4th stimulus package, like extending FPUC, are in trouble. I told you last week that any Republican-led governor state, any state in which the governor is a Republican, expect FPUC to be ending earlier than it expires in September. It's currently set to expire in September, but expect Republican-led governor states to end it earlier. Now we're upwards of 3 states that are ending in June. And that is why today's number came in where it did come in. The Consumer Price Index number came in this morning, and boy, it was, the Consumer Price Index number came in yesterday, and boy, it was just as much as today's Producer Price Index number. These are numbers that gauge inflation. These are numbers that gauge how fast this economy is growing, and look at these numbers. The Producer Price Index number came in today, and it came in at 6.2%. The largest increase since the U.S. Department of Labor has been tracking this number. Insane. It was estimated to come in at 3.8%, so you see it nearly blew it out of the water. It tracks numbers like costs of food, energy, and trade. The producer price focus, the PPI number was so high today, but was not as much a shock because we saw its sister and brother number come in yesterday, which blew it out of the water. That number came in at 4.2%. It was predicted to come in at 3.6%, the highest since 2008. What do you need to know about this? What you need to know is that the president's messaging for forced stimulus is incredible great news for purposes of the stimulus check. The president on Friday, the president on Monday, and the president on Tuesday had no less than 5 press conferences saying, get it done, get it done. This is incredible great news because forced stimulus is that 2-bill, 2-month, 2-step process. And the president's message is to his fellow Democrats. He's not speaking to Republicans. He's saying to get it done because ultimately we see a lot of stuff out there. And what's incredible news is that forced stimulus checks are not impacted by today's PPI number or yesterday's CPI number. Rather, what's impacted by them is items like FPUC, which are likely to go away, just like the eviction moratorium and the mortgage forbearance. The other incredible great news is that the president remains on point to making a deal across the board. And that deal is on the corporate tax rate. The corporate tax rate is what pays for forced stimulus. And it had remained the only issue that could have been divisive among the Democrats in doing a reconciliation. No longer the case because the president's made a deal on corporate taxes. He initially came in at 29%, 28%. The moderates wanted at 25%. The current tax rate is 21%. And he said, deal. This incredible great news for that forced stimulus check because suddenly there is nothing causing any element of concern for forced stimulus checks, whether it is the PPI or CPI or whether it was the corporate tax rate. None of these things remain an issue anymore. They remain an issue potentially for other stimulus items like FPUC, which could end sooner than anticipated. Let's cut back to that incredible big numbers for the forced stimulus. Here's what you need to know. When you look at this forced stimulus and you look at the House versus Senate plan, there is a different mindset across the board. The House mindset is to provide a smaller amount, but over many more months. So let's say there is 4 more months left of the pandemic. That would be $17,000, but it would take you 16 months to get $17,000. A very long time horizon to get that amount of money. The Senate plan is focusing on giving a faster, larger cash infusion to you. So let's look at this example, $12,000 over 6 months. Yeah, so you see the big contrast there. Which one do you like? Senate or House? Senate or House? Drop them a live chat right now or in the comments of this video. Senate or House? The concept for some viewers is that they prefer the Senate plan because they want to be put back to whole as quickly as possible. Others prefer the House plan because they want that sustainable support over a longer duration. But let me go to the big news that hit today across the board for fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus is that incredible reform that will increase your SSI benefits. And it comes on the news, of course, of today's PPI and CPI. Why is this a big issue? You're going to see that in a second. Because they want to add an inflationary benchmark. There you go. We just saw that CPI and PPI number going through the roof. That's great news for you. I'll explain to you that element in a second. So what is this fifth stimulus? It is to increase your benefit limits, add a new asset limit, add an inflationary benchmark, then remove the marriage penalty and remove the income penalty. Incredible great news across the board. Let me explain how it works starting right now for the fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus package is a 2-bill, 2-month, 2-step process, just like fourth stimulus. Instead of starting now, it starts in September, done in November. And instead of adding in stimulus checks, the add-in is the reform. Remember, legislators write these bills, not the president. He only proposes what he wants to have in there. They add in the SSI reform. And what is it? First, it's for you. Who? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, survivor benefits, this is yours. If you're on multiple benefits, it includes you as well. So they would raise your benefits up to a big new number. It would be life-changing. It would be life-changing. Again, this is what they represent. I'm just the reporter. This is going to be your big new number. Then they would tie you to inflation. They tie you into inflation is the incredible great news that you want to hear, because you just heard me start this broadcast talking about how the CPI number came in and double what they thought. If inflation does go to 6%, if inflation does go to 4%, then don't worry, because as inflation goes through the roof, your benefits go through the roof. Then they removed the asset cap. It dates back to a 1980s law that says you can't keep more than $3,000 on hand for some of you. Then they will remove the income cap. It says you can't work and also stay on benefits. It will go away. A 1960s law. So now if you want to work and bring in home $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month, they're going to determine the amount. You will be able to. And finally, they're going to remove the marriage penalty. If you're married, you suffered for the marriage penalty. If you're not getting married, if you've not gotten married, you haven't gotten married because of the marriage penalty. Now love will win because the marriage penalty would go away, and you will be able to get married to your longtime love partner and not lose your benefits. It's incredible, great news across the board. That's fifth stimulus. Its impact would likely start in your bank accounts around November. So what else happened today that's really important across the board? Well, global investor Barry Schleiner spoke to Broadcast News today and said that there are problems about certain items in this economy, and he did talk about stimulus. He says, I do think that the Fed interest rates are being suppressed by the government. We have to get off this sugarcane and fluffer-nutted economy and get back to the meat and potatoes economy. We have to get back to sustainable economy and people getting back to work. Today, we started with news that Amazon was hiring another 75,000 employees. I believe it's at $18 an hour on top of the 500,000 employees it hired just last year. This is amid news that Governor Gavin Newsom in California has now lifted the mask mandate effective June 15th. You will no longer have to wear a mask anywhere in the state of California, indoors, outdoors, anywhere, starting June 15th. That's also when the entire state opens completely. This former head of Starwood, this chairman and CEO of Starwood Capital also told news that you're seeing unbelievable shortages in this economy, from everything from chicken wings to sheetrock to curtain wall and couches, because you can't get these items. They're all coming from China. So what we did was we wrote a giant stimulus package, and now you're shopping and buying for everything offshore. We do anything to fix long-term issues in the U.S. economy, saying that a lot of the shortage of items in the U.S. economy right now are coming from China, and we didn't fix that problem. Then he said the housing market is unsustainable at its current prices. Finally, Amazon, as I detailed to you, it's now offering 75,000 employees to get a job. They have now 75,000 new job openings just announced today for warehouse and delivery. And you're getting $17 an hour with an upwards of $100 bonus and an additional bonus on top of that. bonus, and more bonus. And guess what? I got a bonus for you. Another broadcast is coming up right after this. So with that, make sure you subscribe. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. Fourth stimulus, fifth stimulus, and all the big money landing in your accounts was covered in this channel, was covered in this video today. We started with the fourth stimulus, the biggest payout you've ever seen in the history of this channel. It comes in the month of July, and then goes all the way to at least December. It's a monthly stimulus check. If you got the third one, you would get this one. Then we went over fifth stimulus that starts in November in your bank account, but would go a 2-month process starting in September. And in the middle of this recording, we went over donut moments and tough love moments, where you're getting thousands and thousands of dollars, some automatically, some you have to do because a deadline is just around the corner. So make sure you subscribe. I want you part of this family. The fastest growing and the only 24 hours a day, 7 days a week financial news channel online. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. I'll next see you on air with top crypto investments of 2021 coming up after this broadcast. Stay informed, stay focused, and keep on smiling.